Hello everyone, thank you for joining us in this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. My name is Babla Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, 2 persons reportedly killed in the town of Bamenda in a standoff between security officers and some civilians, notably at Old Town, a neighborhood in the Old Town neighborhood in the northwest regional capital, Bamenda. We shall be bringing to you greater details with our correspondent who is giving us information on what is happening over there in the town of Bamenda. We'll also in this newscast talk about the cholera outbreak, which is gradually making its way into the town of Douala. The locality of Makepe in the Douala 5 subdivision has been declared a red zone by a medical expert, a public health expert, who says that cholera is present in that neighborhood of the town of Douala. We shall also talk about foreign news, notably in Burkina Faso, where over 60 persons have been killed in an explosion in a makeshift mining site. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us in this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. In the Old Town neighborhood, northwest regional chief town, Bamenda, 2 persons have reportedly been killed by a uniformed officer. Unconfirmed reports say a scuffle ensued between them, and the incident happened around the premises of Ayaba Hotel a while ago, and our correspondent is tracking news on that in the town of Bamenda. We shall be bringing to you more updates. Latest information streaming into a newsroom indicates that inhabitants have turned out at the scene while security forces are streaming in and out of the Ayaba Hotel. We will be bringing to you more updates concerning this information in the town of Bamenda, happening in the context of the close to or the more than 5-year-long armed conflict going on now in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. We stay in the town of Bamenda to talk about some media reports that have linked the ownership of a security company based in the town to a serving army general of the Republic of Cameroon and close aides of the head of state. But the management says that the management of that security company says that the claims are false. We have details with Mustela and Bamenda.
Who have depended on the media as the main source of information, but when the information is misleading, the results can only be a situation of confusion and conflict depending on the information that was circulated. A security company based in Bamenda is the latest to be targeted by false information. According to some media reports, the company was created in 2004 and owned by a serving army general who is also a close collaborator of the head of state of Cameroon. But the security company's management says these claims are baseless, aimed at misleading public opinions and putting the security company in conflict with the laws regulating the sector in Cameroon.
The law is clear about that. The law doesn't permit military people who are still in service to operate private security company. So it's very important for us to clarify the public, because this false information is so dangerous in such a way that it can create us security issues between us, the government, and our client.
Since the armed conflict in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon in particular, misinformation has been widely spread on various social media platforms by parties either directly or indirectly involved in the conflict, each to show their strength over the other. Around the world, misinformation has led to deadly conflicts. International non-governmental organizations like the United Nations have been warning against the sharing of information before verification.
Bustela reporting there in the northwest regional chief town Bamenda. Sorry for the abrupt end of that report. Now back here to the economic capital of the Republic of Cameroon. Makepe Misoke neighborhood declared a red zone as far as the cholera outbreak is concerned, and we went to that neighborhood, and in those images you can see the poor hygienic state of the area, notably the Makepe Misoke market and other areas in that neighborhood where the people are living and doing business in very poor hygienic conditions. And a medical expert, a public health expert, Dr. Roger Etoua, declares that the place is now a red zone and that the cholera epidemic is likely to be present in that neighborhood. He advises all persons not to consume liquid fruits from that part of the town of Douala, or to make sure that the fruits are thoroughly washed before consumption, as the cholera epidemic makes its way into the littoral region of the country. It started in the southwest region where it killed a certain number of persons, and some cases were recorded there. More than 20 cases were recorded there in the southwest region of the country, and then to the littoral region, notably in the Mungo division, where some deaths were equally recorded, confirmed by administrative and medical experts in that part of the country. And now the turn of the city of Douala with Dr. Roger Etoua, a public health expert, warning against the spread of raising an alarm as far as the cholera outbreak is concerned. And he says that some cases are reported already, and of course he urges all who identifies any symptom of diarrhea or vomiting to rush to the medical center in Makepe Centre Médicalisé de Bonamusadi, to the medical center in Bonamusadi, where the cholera problem is taken care of free. And of course this is latest information streaming into a newsroom as far as the cholera outbreak is concerned. This is the third region that is being affected by the cholera outbreak in the Republic of Cameroon, and this is coming at a point when water or potable water supply is inadequately supply, or potable water is inadequately supplied in many parts of Cameroon, from the big cities to the hinterlands, and poor hygienic conditions are seen almost everywhere in major cities as well as the rural areas. And we're now talking about scarcity, water scarcity in the Republic of Cameroon. This is a major problem in the country, almost everywhere. Innocent as the asthma.
Amendi is one of the localities in Bavosam West region divorced by potable water. Locals here either have the choice to cover long distances to fetch potable water, or consume unclean and contaminated one from streams and doubtful sources. Even when you get to the far-off points to fetch purified water, the crowd is unbearable. You bask in the sun for hours. The transport itself is too much. Why should I buy water around when I have a tap at home that has become a Christmas tree? While she experiences water disparity for 2 months, others in Banengu, precisely at Antentele, have gone for years without the precious liquid. Look at the sink. My wife got angry and decided to remove the tap. It is the same with neighbors. This disgruntled teacher adds, they are often compelled to surround this tap found 200 meters from their home at night, telling stories while hoping the dry taps will vomit water in their containers.
Le jour c'est venu, vous ne puisez pas, vous courez le risque de faire encore peut-être 1 ou 2 mois sans la moindre goutte d'eau.
Going about his house chores, he says, is horrible.
Je lave ça comme au désert.
I use a little quantity of water to wash my clothes as if we are in a desert.
Vous les lavez. Si vous étiez venu un peu plus tôt, vous m'auriez trouvé en train de laver les habits là.
These locals who also complain of paying high water bills without seeing water cross their fingers in perseverance for positive actions to be taken by Kamwater officials in the West region.
Innocent as they're reporting there on water crisis in some parts of the town of Bafoussam in the west region of the Republic of Cameroon, now to the Mongo division, notably in Melong, where the cholera outbreak killed some persons recently, as confirmed by administrative and medical authorities in that part of the littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon. We take a look at the consequences of the misinformation that followed the cholera outbreak in that part of the country. For me, Armstrong Sander has more.
It's about people dying mysteriously after consuming a chew at La Forêt roundabout, commonly referred to as Carrefour La Forêt, provoked a wave of panic in the town of Melong in the Mongo division of the littoral region in the late January 2022. On February 1st, 2022, the divisional officer for Melong in a communique linked the death to a cholera outbreak, announcing that several other cases were being hospitalized. 1 month after, Equinoxe Television is here to know what has become of this famous road junction, well known to users of the National Road Number 5, Douala Bafoussam, Douala Bamenda.
Tu vois un groupe de 10 personnes vient là. Une personne sort parmi les 10 et dit que nous ne mangeons pas. Ici on tue les gens.
Local traders say the news, amplified by social media, has had a devastating impact on their turnover and daily lives. They say most travelers between Douala and Bamenda became reluctant to stop by or consume food in Melong after the wrongly advanced narrative of food poisoning.
Le poison n'a jamais servi dans le tarot à Melong.
Jean Couté, the mayor of Melong, says there has never been any case of food poisoning in Melong, but a cholera epidemic which he blames on the lack of potable water in his municipality. The Simor River Camp Water Project, which was projected as a life solution to water scarcity in Melong, Bareba, Kem and Kongsamba, has not been working for 3 years, allegedly because of electrical problems. The people of Melong now depend on doubtful water sources to quench their thirst, even with the presence of cholera.
His Lordship Aloysius Fondon is now the new Bishop of Manfi Diocese of the Roman Catholic Church in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, and his appointment was revealed by Archbishop Andrew Kia, Archbishop of Bamenda and Apostolic Administrator of the Manfi Diocese, and his appointment comes to fill that gap in the Diocese of Manfi in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. And there was joy and of course emotions in the Manfi Diocese. Earlier today we can see the man of God shedding tears after his appointment and receiving congratulations from Christians and other men of God who came to notably congratulate him for his appointment by the Pope. He takes over the Manfi Diocese of the Roman Catholic Church in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, and it should be noted that he's taking over that position in the context of crisis and war that has been prevailing in the two English-speaking regions of the Republic of Cameroon, and Manfi being one of the most affected areas as far as the crisis is concerned. He's coming then to lead the Christians in that part of the southwest region of the country and of course to continue with prayers for the nation and the return for peace in the two English-speaking regions and the Republic as a whole. That was the information about the Archbishop or the Bishop of Mamfe, reviewed by the Archbishop of Bamenda, Apostolic Administrator of the Mamfe Diocese. Now, in news out of the Republic of Cameroon, about 60 people are reported dead after an explosion at a makeshift gold mine in a village in southwest Burkina Faso. The blast occurred in a market at the gold mining site. Witnesses said dynamite stored at the site caught fire, uprooting trees and bringing down houses. A judicial source said there were bodies everywhere. Women and children are thought to be among the casualties, and dozens of people injured in that explosion in Burkina Faso are under medical attention. The ambassador of Kenya to the United Nations Security Council has condemned Russia's decision to send troops to Ukraine's breakaway regions of Donetsk and Luhansk, and the decision to recognize them as independent states. Martin Kamani said the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine stands breached. He adds that the Charter of the United Nations continues to wield under the relentless assault of the powerful. Kemani's comments signal a marked change from Kenya's previous position at the United Nations Security Council when it abstain from voting. Now, I want you to take a listen to this extract of the declaration of the Kenyan ambassador to the United Nations Security Council.
Kenya is gravely concerned by the announcement made by the Russian Federation to recognize Donetsk and Luhansk regions of Ukraine as independent states. In our considered view, this action and announcement breaches the territorial integrity of Ukraine. We do not deny that there may be serious security concerns in these regions, but they cannot justify today's recognition of these regions as independent states, not when there are multiple diplomatic tracks available and underway that have the ability to offer peaceful solutions. Mr. President, this situation echoes our history. Kenya and almost every African country was birthed by the ending of empire. Our borders were not of our own drawing. They were drawn in the distant colonial metropoles of London, Paris, and Lisbon, with no regard for the ancient nations that they cleaved apart. Today, across the border of every single African country live our countrymen with whom we share deep historical, cultural, and linguistic bonds. At independence, had we chosen to pursue states on the basis of ethnic, racial, or religious homogeneity, we would still be waging bloody wars these many decades later. Instead, we agreed that we would settle for the borders that we inherited, but we would still pursue continental political, economic, and legal integration. Rather than form nations that looked ever backwards into history with a dangerous nostalgia, we chose to look forward to a greatness none of our many nations and peoples had ever known. We chose to follow the rules of the Organization of African Unity and the United Nations Charter, not because our borders satisfied us, but because we wanted something greater, forged in peace. We rejected irredentism and expansionism on any basis, including racial, ethnic, religious, or cultural factors. We reject it again today. Kenya registers its strong concern and opposition to the recognition of Donetsk and Luhansk as independent states. We further strongly condemn the trend in the last few decades of powerful states, including members of this Security Council, breaching international law with little regard. Multilateralism lies on its deathbed tonight. It has been assaulted today as it has been by other powerful states in the recent past. We call on all members to rally behind the Secretary General in asking him to rally us all to the standard that defends multilateralism. We also call on him to bring his good offices to bear to help the concerned parties resolve this situation by peaceful means. Let me conclude, Mr. President, by reaffirming Kenya's respect for the territorial integrity of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders.
Senegal now has a modern stadium constructed within a period of 20 months. The 50,000-seater capacity stadium costs the sum of 150 billion francs CFA with construction done by a Turkish company. And in comparative analysis, many are already asking questions about the huge amount of money, far above the money invested by Senegal in the construction of that modern sport amenity, invested by Cameroon in the construction of the Olembe Stadium in Yaoundé, which is yet to be completed. Smanjika and Gabriel Hasbo.
Situated around 30 kilometers from Senegal's capital, Dakar, Diamniadio is the town accommodating the newly constructed Olympic Stadium, whose inauguration is this Tuesday. The 50,000-seater capacity stadium that was constructed by a Turkish company, according to Seneplus, cost the government 150 billion francs CFA. The construction work of the sports edifice was launched by Senegal's president Macky Sall on February 20, 2020, with the hopes of it getting finished within 17 months, but the outbreak of COVID-19 caused significant delays to the project, with the completion date pushed to 2022. The Diamniadio Olympic Stadium will be a multipurpose stadium which will be able to host football, rugby, and athletics. Other features of the Diamniadio's Olympic Stadium includes an annex stadium which will boast an athletic track and a 2,000-seat grandstand, a multifunctional training stadium, 4 changing rooms, an 800-person press conference room, 4 TV studios, 1,664 seats reserved for the press, 50 VIP boxes containing 1,500 seats, 2 VVIP lounges containing 76 seats each, a restaurant with a panoramic view, a museum, sewage treatment plant, and a solar power plant. The Diamniadio Olympic Stadium will serve as the residence of the Senegal national football team. It was on August 8, 2018, during the inauguration of the 15,000 capacity Dakar Arena, that the president of Senegal, Macky Sall, made the commitment to initiate the construction of a stadium in the heart of the urban center of Diamniadio, a promise which he kept joyously. Even though it's a 50-seater capacity stadium, the amount of money spent is less compared to the over 200 billion francs CFA that has been used already on the Olembe Stadium in Cameroon, which is still uncompleted till date. Many have also congratulated the president of Senegal, Macky Sall, who instead of giving the name of the stadium as the Macky Sall Stadium, has decided to name the Diamniadio Olympic Stadium after Senegalese former president Abdoulaye Wade. The Diamniadio Olympic Stadium will be used for the 2026 Youth Olympic Games to be hosted by Senegal.
That's it for the first part of this newscast. Talking Point is up next. Our guest today is Sir Alex Ntive Lissing, a human rights defender and political activist, is joining us from Germany. Matt, you're welcome.
Hello, hi. Babila, I understand you say from Germany. I'm in London, if I did not get you right. So, welcome, and it's nice. It's always a pleasure to come and talk to our people back home.
All right, thank you for that correction. Now, we want to talk about issues concerning everybody, almost everybody in Cameroon, but especially the poor and low income earners from the big cities to the hinterlands. There is this problem, or these problems of inadequate potable water supply and electricity supply. And today we are talking about this situation at a time when cholera, it's making its way through the country. It started in the southwest region, and today we're talking about it in the littoral region of the country. And in the town of Douala, for example, the neighborhood of Makepe Misoke is now declared a red zone as far as the cholera outbreak is concerned by a medical expert, Dr. Roger Etoile. And there is this problem of water scarcity, which is a serious problem. In a recent publication, you said that, let me quote what you said, when it comes to campaigning for electricity, water, and creation of jobs in Cameroon, all our civil servant politicians will shy away. On the contrary, they are very passionate on football matters. Let those who are in power use the same energy and passion that they have for football to provide world-class public services to our citizens. Tell us more about this.
Yes, but it saddens me. The last time I heard about cholera, I'm sure I was in Boya, I was in primary school, I was about, that's 40 years ago. So, but it saddens me that today I sit here, I want to be talking about cholera in Cameroon. And we understand that we have just seen we saw the energy that the civil servant politicians, I call them because politicians in Cameroon are civil servants. I saw what they do, energy about football. I have a copy of my book here, Living Together, which is here. There's something in life which we call what? Basic necessity. Basic necessity is food, is water, is air, is shelter. If one of these needs is not met, a human being cannot survive. So when I sit here, I love football, that's a personal thing. But when we have in law what we call a scale of preference, water comes first. And when we see, I should make this clear. When I come on this program and talk, people say they love Cameroon. If you love a country, you have to point out the weaknesses. In our country, not long ago, our Prime Minister, Mr. Diongute, said the road to Babaju to Bamenda will start in a week's time. Nothing is happening. Again, President Biya said 30 years ago, Ring Road, Deep Sea Port, nothing is happening. And we keep on making these promises. And it is a shame that cholera, which is what is contaminated, the causes are what, like contaminated water, contaminated water, this underground water, those are some of the causes of cholera. And my point is, we are still using the same infrastructure that we used to use under President Aidjo. We are still using, we don't know what is happening now in Cameroon is the law of diminishing marginal returns. We are using the same thing, the population have increased to 27 million persons. And we keep on using this thing. We don't see. I have my book, as I said, Living Together. What is more important among us as a people? It's water. It's not about a stadium. When I sit here, I scrutinize. I hold the government into account for using taxpayers' money. I'm not against them. It's because I love the country. One of the functions, or a couple of functions of the government, is to redistribute income, is to provide water and other amenities for our population. And when we have a government that says certain things and they do nothing, in this Living Together, which I have a copy here, in June 2018, President Biya ordered the setting of 12.2 billion special assistance fund for the population in Northwest, Southwest, and Far North. They keep on writing literature, but they don't do anything. I believe in actions speak louder than words. Some people, they don't have the opportunity to be in power, like Mr. Biya has been there for 40 years. Some politicians in the Western world, they have just 5 years, one term in office to construct roads, electricity, water, and other things. So it's better believe we should come. If we love the country, we love to live together. What we need to do as a people, we should not be annoyed when people point the defects, the malfeasance, what is happening in our country.
These problems of inadequate potable water and electricity supply have been there for as long as Cameroon has existed. From the big cities to the rural areas, this problem is there. In Douala, Yaoundé, Bafoussam, Bamenda, Kumba, Boya, everywhere, these problems are plaguing the lives of citizens. Where is the problem in your opinion? Is it a policy problem? Is it a problem of individuals? Is it a problem of slow pace of execution? Because government has lots of projects and actions that are geared or that's supplying enough water, electricity for the people.
Egocentrism, egoism. People are too selfish. Are people in office? Once somebody is comfortable, they have got their generator, and I'm talking about the people who governs Cameroon. They don't care about our people who live in the rural area or certain area. Yesterday, I was in touch in Cameroon. I was speaking to a relative, electricity was off. They don't care. If you look at most of our representatives in the Cameroon, they don't go to their villages. They live in Yaoundé, all of them. So they don't care what happened. It's about selfishness. If people don't care about a common person, you have to do politics with compassion. You have to think about your people. Our people don't do that. They don't care. They just sit there, and somebody like myself, if I sit here, I point things out. I don't do politics of hate. But when I look at our country, I believe we can do better. When I look at the amount of people who Mr. Biya put in prison, the amount of money that they have stolen, I believe we can use this money to make water accessible to everyone in Cameroon.
The President of the Republic and the government have been undertaking some initiatives over the years to step up potable water supply, to step up electricity supply, building dams, building power plants here and there, but the problem is still persisting. Where do we find the blockage? Is it that the money that is invested is not enough, or it is stolen? Because you seem to be just putting all the blame on individuals who are stealing money. Is it just about the money that is stolen, or it is not even enough?
It might be part of competence, because you understand, Mr. Babila, you're in Cameroon. I understand journalists in Cameroon. It's very difficult for them to meet these people in place who are in power, to interview them and ask certain questions. I know sometimes people might be lucky, but in the Western world where we live, you question these people. If you ask some of these people who are running Cameroon, what are the functions of the government? They don't even know. So the problem about competence is very important. And again, when you take something like water, which is a necessity of life, and give it to a foreign company, they are there to make their profit. They don't care about the people. If you look at most of these utility companies in Cameroon, they are not owned by Cameroonians. I believe it's time that Cameroonians should start owning their own property, because any investment, they would like to put the investment back in Cameroon. But if you give it to a foreigner who doesn't care, they are just there to make their profit and take the money out of the country. That's a personal view, what I've seen. That's one of the problems to me. It is very important that being patriotic doesn't mean you love Cameroon. No, It means you want to see water, everybody should have water, electricity. You want to see everybody to be all right and fine. Come and gone. We have had Ofcom. How many Cameroonians out of 27 million were watching that Ofcom? There are people who live in some rural areas. They don't have electricity. They don't have anything. Sometimes we are not used to the fact that we have to disagree in order to agree. When you criticize, I criticize the government. Why? They are in power and they have a certain duty. They collect taxpayers' money. They should use it for public interest. That's why I'm holding them. You call them scrutinized and holding them into account. It's not about hatred. It's telling them that you people have been in power. You people are using taxpayers' money. Are you using it judiciously or not? That's what I'm talking about. So it's not about hate. It's about use that taxpayer money better. If you cannot use it, allow other people. I respect people like Mr. Biya, the Prime Minister of Cameroon. But my point is, people like Mr. Biya, when they came from Europe to Cameroon, they had a lot of ideas, technology. After being in power for 50 years, we have new technology. It is time for us to have people with new ideas to run that country. I'm sure at certain stage in your life, you're tired. And sometimes you're lost, you don't have much ideas. So we need new people with modern technology to come back home and deal with this thing. If you look at our indomitable lions, all the players, they are all what? Diaspora, trained in foreign countries. We need people, whether it's a medical doctor, whether lawyers, and engineers, to come together and work with people home and up our standard. That's what is important. You cannot just use the footballers only to come to Cameroon. Use other people. We have experts, engineers, people in different fields who are just in the diaspora. Use them and let's make our country a better place.
So Ndivali Singe, before we go, the situation, the security situation remains quite unstable in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Just today, we are receiving reports of 2 persons killed in Old Town in Bamenda, largely by a uniformed officer in a standoff between the officers and some civilians. Now, you said recently that guns cannot solve problems, but rather politics should be the option that should be used. Politicians should use their mandates, not guns, to solve these kind of problems. You're one of the persons who have been very outspoken on this situation. What did you mean by that when you said politicians should use their mandate and not guns to solve the problem?
The problem is, when you use guns, at the end of the day, you will still come back to solve the problem without using gun. So at the end of the day, we have seen a lot of people who have been killed in Cameroon. We have seen a lot of people in Northwest and Southwest, young people. And when people say, let's make a place ungovernable, we have seen senator, a barrister killed in Northwest region. We are losing our people. We will never bring these people back. At the end of the day, I don't expect the government to meet all of our needs in one instant. They have been in power for a long time. All is to put them pressure, using guns, making the place ungovernable, making our people, forcing them. I believe in civil disobedience. Civil disobedience, you don't use force. And asking children not to go to school, you said they shouldn't go to school, or what is war crime. All those things. Unfortunately, some of my brothers who just joined and are trying to bring changes in Cameroon, they don't understand the laws and certain things that involve. To me, I don't believe in, I don't hate any person. All we need in Cameroon is equality. And when we put our voice together, peaceful protest, Gandhi did it, Martin Luther King did it. A lot of people have been doing these things. It is normal. If you put peaceful protest, at the end of the day, the struggle, as some people call it, or the fight we are fighting, some people in the diaspora have made it to look like a joke. To me, I pray and I keep on praying. These people in the diaspora at some time...
It's Sir Alex Ndivali Singe, human rights defender, political activist. Thank you so much for your time, and this is where we draw the curtains on this news edition on Equinoxe Television. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye.